It took some grinding. I hit 1,000,000 resource convoys, but I finally unlocked the NinjaBike backpack. I've done a bunch of testing and messing around with a whole bunch of different configurations, and I am finally ready to post my very first NinjaBike build guide. What's going on, everybody? It's LukeTheDuke, and welcome back to the channel. So today, I've assembled an assault rifle NinjaBike build. I guess we could call it the StrikeBike setup. And by the way, this one is going to be using an unscripted format. I've tried to give you 3 different variations along with all these options and stats. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to walk you through both variations of this assault rifle NinjaBike setup I've created. This is the easier, call it the more sustainable version of this build. Now, both of these are, of course, going to be built around the NinjaBike Messenger backpack. We knew it was coming as part of Season 11. You get it at reward track level 90. It comes with all 3 core attributes, which is great, just like the Memento, weapon damage, armor, and skill tier, but it is the resourceful talent that you want to concentrate on. Slots in with any equipped gear set and or brand set item to fulfill a requirement towards unlocking a gear set bonus. So if you equip 1 piece of a brand set, if you have NinjaBike on, it's going to unlock the 2-piece. If you equip 2 pieces of a gear set, it's going to unlock the 3-piece bonus. And of course, I put crit hit chance onto this because we want to try to max out our crit hit chance on this build. For the mask, I've gone with the Striker's Battle Gear Mask. This one's got weapon damage on it. Crit hit chance is the attribute, which is kind of low. I still need to optimize that. And then it's also got a crit hit chance mod on it as well. Now, I'm using 2 pieces of Strikers with this setup, but of course with NinjaBike, it unlocks the 3-piece bonus. Now, the 2-piece bonus doesn't look all that dazzling on paper. Weapon handling, that's everything to do with like reload speed, aim down sight speed, things of that nature. I think accuracy and stability might also be mixed into there as well. But the 3-piece bonus is what you really want here. That's rate of fire. That's free DPS. Anytime you can up the RPM of your weapon with no negative attributes, that means it's spitting out more rounds downrange faster. That is what you want. And at 15% rate of fire, Striker's Battle Gear is a great selection here. For the chest piece on this more sustainable version, I'm using 1 piece of UG. Now, because it's 1 piece plus the NinjaBike backpack, it's going to unlock the 2-piece bonus. So we're going to pick up 5% total armor. But the more important thing that we need here is plus 10% armor on kill. That's going to keep us in the fight, and it gives us a bit more sustainability here. If you check down here as far as the attributes, I'm running a max crit hit damage attribute. I need to optimize the crit hit chance attribute as well, and I'm running a max crit hit chance mod. Now, this may look like a bit of an odd selection here, but I'm going with glass cannon. So all damage I deal, that's my weapon, that's my skills, is amped up by 25%. Remember, amp damage is multiplicative, but of course, all damage I take, that's incoming damage, is amped up by 50%. So once again, running with UG, getting armor on kill, you can see why that kind of pairs up pretty well. For the holster, I decided to mix in 1 piece of Walker and Harris. Of course, with NinjaBike, that unlocks the 2-piece bonus. So we're getting 5% weapon damage. But by the way, we do also have weapon damage as the core attribute. So for this 1 piece alone, we've got 20% weapon damage. It also unlocks the 2-piece bonus, which is 5% damage to armor. That's great to have, especially on heroic and legendary difficulty. And then as the attributes, crit hit chance and crit hit damage. For the gloves, I've gone with my 2nd piece of Striker's Battle Gear, of course paired up with NinjaBike. 2-piece then becomes 3-piece, and we now have weapon handling and rate of fire. Rate of fire, the most important thing there. Core attributes, I've gone with a max armor core attribute, again for a bit more sustain, and then as the minor attribute, crit hit damage. For the knee pads, I've gone with the named Fox's Prayer. These are the Overlord Armaments knee pads, and of course that plus 10% rifle damage does us no good. But with NinjaBike, we unlock the 2-piece bonus, which is plus 20% accuracy, which is great to keep the bullet bloom and spread of our AR very tightly packed together. This one's all maxed out at plus 15% weapon damage. Of course, the reason we're using Fox's Prayer is that 2nd attribute plus 8% damage to targets out of cover, which is multiplicative. And then it also has 12% crit hit damage, which is max value as well. For the weaponry, I tried to keep this one a bit more on the obtainable side. This is the named Kingbreaker. This was added into the game last season, Season 10. But of course, if you have it, I know it's ultra rare, but another option is to slap on the exotic Eagle Bearer. It hits very hard. You will not regret it. Now back to the Kingbreaker, the reason that I wanted to use this weapon is number one, it has very high base damage at 58.8k. It of course comes with assault rifle damage, health damage, which is great versus named elites that do not have armor bars, such as Black Tusk Doggos. This one came with 10% damage to targets out of cover. That's a great multiplicative damage bonus. And then the talent down here of Perfect Flatline amplifies weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies. Again, amp damage is multiplicative damage. As long as we can pulse an enemy and hit them, we're going to be pushing out 20% amp damage versus that target. I would recommend using the Technician Specialization, especially if we're going to pair it up with this more sustained variant of this assault rifle NinjaBike setup. And the reason we want to use Technician are for two specific nodes. The first is at the very top, Dismantling. This is a tier 4 passive talent. It's going to give us plus 12% damage to drones, skill proxies, and robotics, which is really going to help us out versus, say, like Black Tusk Tech. And the second and probably more important node is way over on the left side. That's the linked laser pointer. By equipping this onto our Kingbreaker and just pointing the weapon at a target, it's going to pulse the target. And if we go back to the Kingbreaker weapon talent of Perfect Flatline, we get plus 20% amp weapon damage to pulsed enemies. So by equipping the linked laser pointer and pointing the weapon at an enemy, we instantly pulse them, and that's going to proc that 20% amp weapon damage. For the skills on this more sustained setup, of course, because we are using the Technician Specialization, we don't need Pulse. I've gone with the Assault Drone, which does benefit, by the way, from the extra amp damage supplied by Glass Cannon on the Chestpiece. And then for the secondary skill, I'm actually using the Crusader Shield in case I have one of those oh shit moments and I just need to pop the shield to give me a little bit more sustain. As promised, here's the wilder, more offensive version of that first build, and I have a third version I'm going to show you in just a moment. But you can see all the gear is the same, except for the fact that I've switched out that UG chest piece now for Fenris. One piece of Fenris plus the NinjaBike unlocks the 2-piece bonus, so we get plus 10% assault rifle damage and plus 20% reload speed, which is not too shabby. Remember, that's going to get you back into the fight quicker. That equals more DPS. Anyway, core attributes are weapon damage, maxed out. Attributes are max crit hit chance, max crit hit damage, and I've equipped a max crit hit chance mod. The talent is still Glass Cannon. All damage you deal is amped by 25%. That's multiplicative. All damage you take is amped by 50%. So all incoming damage is really juiced up. Now, if you're going to use this wilder version, I would recommend switching off of the Technician Specialization over to Gunner, because we're giving up one of those armor cores. And over here on Gunner, there's some really good nodes. First off, you get Incessant, which killing enemies grants 10% armor. That's going to keep us in the fight even longer. You've also got Coupler, which is every third reload is 50% faster. So if you're going to use this wilder setup, I would recommend switching over to Gunner. But of course, switching over to Gunner is going to cost you the linked laser pointer over in the Technician Specialization. So now you're left with the dilemma, how do you pulse targets? Well, you're going to have to equip one of your skills as Pulse. I've actually done so, and that every time I pulse, it will actually pulse the targets, and that's going to proc the 20% amp damage on Perfect Flatline on my Kingbreaker. And here is the Wildest version. I've actually made 2 changes from the previous setup. Number 1, I've switched out the Kingbreaker for the Eagle Bearer. And number 2, I've switched out Pulse for Assault Drone. Remember, since I'm no longer using laser pointer and I don't have Perfect Flatline on my weapon, Pulse serves me no purpose. So I decided to switch over to the Assault Drone and take advantage of that 25% amp damage supplied by the Fenris Chestpiece Glass Cannon. Here's the stats on the first variation of this build. As you can see, we have 53% crit hit chance, 91.4% crit hit damage, 75% headshot damage, 5% armor damage from the Walker Harris holster, and 21% health damage on the Kingbreaker itself. Stats on the second version, this is the one using the glass cannon Fenris Chestpiece. We're looking at 59.1% crit hit chance, 91.4% critical hit damage, 75% headshot damage, and of course the 5% armor damage, and 21% health damage as well. And here's the stats on the third and final variation. This is the Wildest version that I showed you. 54.1% crit hit chance, 106.4% crit hit damage, 85% headshot damage, 5% damage to armor, and 20% health damage. I'm sure there's a million questions right now and just as many strong opinions being given on both sides of this argument, that being, which is better, NinjaBike or the Memento backpack? And honestly, for me, that comes down to a couple questions that I have to answer before equipping either of these backpacks. Number one is, what style of combat will I be going into? If it's going to be in-your-face, sweaty, close-quarters combat, then I'm going to equip the Memento backpack 10 out of 10 times. Those kill confirms with those short and long-term buffs are just too strong to give up. The weapon damage, the armor regen, the skill efficiency just make the Memento the class of all the backpacks in the game. But if I'm rolling in a group or I'm going to be engaged in medium to longer range precision shooting, then I might actually consider using the NinjaBike Messenger backpack, especially because there is no ramp up period like the Memento. There's no trophies to accumulate. There's no short or long term buffs. NinjaBike gives you 100% of what it's got from the very first shot. As always, I look forward to reading your feedback in the comments section below. Please make sure to smash that big, beautiful subscribe button and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. If you could take a few seconds more to rate and or share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can find and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and over in my community Discord server, links to all of which can be found in the video description and pinned comments below. Shout out to the 114,000 of you that have taken that leap and hit the sub button, and a huge thanks to the Buzz Battalion over on Patreon. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.